I need you lay down. Oh, say for me. I need you.
Why are you walking around
God, that was beautiful. It's about the simulation hypothesis. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, sort of the concept of the Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix, essentially. That's essentially what it is.
Where nothing is real. You could put the two of them side by side and say they are close enough. They are cousins.
Yeah. Do you believe in the simulation hypothesis?
The simulation hypothesis. I think anything is plausible. We don't really know enough about anything. I'm just trying to live the best I can with what I have, and if what I have happens to be completely false, then so be it. Have I experienced Phantom Touch? I have not, actually. Which is... I do know of it. It's like having phantom pain after you lose a limb. That isn't actually happening. But just in a more physical, like... Yeah, more physical sense. The brain is wild. With the things it perceives, it whether they're real or not, how it chooses to perceive them. And two people can experience the exact same thing, like down to the letter, and they could pull completely different reactions out of them. I am probably my biggest fear is insects and arachnids, so
Right.
spiders and anything that flies. It's in VR. I don't get it as bad because I kind of have that separation, but there have been times where I'm in a game and I see a spider run in front of me and I like freak out a little bit. I hear like the buzzing of a fly, like I'm walking past something horrific and there's like flies buzzing in your ear. That sound like sends chills down my spine.
Have you ever role-played in VR?
Yes and no. Not to the extent of... I don't know how to... There have been times where I'm like, I have a skin on for a character from a game or something that I like, and I'm just messing around pretending to be them, but I have...
Have you ever had dreams or, like, thoughts where you're... like, where you've gotten so in character, like, you are that character, like, in your thoughts or dreams?
I am that character. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Of all things. Spider-Man. There are times where I don't know what's going on. There are times where I've had dreams where I'm, swinging around whatever blank city with skyscraper.
That's cool.
And I'm like, man, I'm Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man. And I go and I beat up a criminal, and I'm like, man, I'm Spider-Man. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm not Spider-Man. My life sucks.
It's a cool dream, though. I had a dream I was Mr. Frog.
Awesome. Mr. Frog.
Yeah.
My man.
Do you think digital mind transfer will ever be possible, and do you think you would ever consider it?
Mind transfer... Okay, so... Thoughts, memories... thoughts and memories, which are like the two things that make up a person. You are you because of the things you've experienced, the memories you have, and the thoughts that you have.
Right.
Which are then based off of those memories. That's all technically just data, in the same way that a computer sees it, where it's just like pulses of electricity. It's just in our brain, it is organic. Theoretically, you could take those pulses and shoot them into something else, and maybe get the same results where you could port over the memory of one thing to something else.
Right.
Whether that be from a person to a computer, or a computer to a person, or a person to a person. I think it's feasible, but not in this century.
Right.
Or the next century. Would I consider it? Like porting my consciousness over to like a dog, or just some other
Like a
Joe Schmo
computer.
off the street. To a computer. Maybe.
Yeah, to a computer.
The problem with that is you kind of lose a lot of your humanity, because a whole lot of what makes you human is being able to feel touch, to be able to have emotions and things
Right.
like that. And I don't think it's not possible for a computer to have those, but I think that if you, a person with emotions and with feelings, were ported over to something as definite and certain as a computer, you would sort of lose a lot of those qualities, and you just wouldn't be the same. It ruins the whole human experience of feeling, thinking, being able to do whatever. And that's not even that's not even including the fact that you are now locked inside of what is essentially a SD card.
Right.
If somebody pulls that card out and smashes it, you're gone.
Right.
If I guess it's the same for a real person as well, if they smash you with a hammer, but being confined to something as small as a disk drive, a floppy disk, a CD is just a horrible thought to me.
Really.
And I don't think that I don't think that that's good for anything.
What's your thoughts on Facebook's metaverse?
Metaverse?
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I haven't really been paying attention to it. But sort of the idea of being able to take sort of a combination of like Rec Room, which is a lot more designed around game creation, things like that, and VRChat, which is, the social aspect of VR, and sort of putting them together where you have this second world to go into. Actually, so are you familiar with GTA RP? Those
Yeah.
servers? Where you go in, you are now Ronald De Janeiro, and you are a white collar police officer, and you run
Right.
on the streets. Having that with its own economy, with its own world, its own rules, its own everything, but having that in VR. I think in concept is amazing. It's baffling that we're sort of at that point where we can create a whole nother plane of existence inside of a computer.
Right.
I don't entirely agree with it, because sort of taking something as it's the same thing with porting a person to a flash drive. Taking something as delicate and intricate as the human lifestyle, or someone's lifestyle, and porting it over to a computer, it just feels disingenuous.
Yeah.
Like you wake up in the morning, and then you go to work, and then you come home from work, and then you get into VR, and then you go to work in VR, and then you come home from work in VR, or you wake up, get into VR, go to work in VR. It seems plausible. Like, it's totally something that could happen, like, soon, but
Right.
it just doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem like a step in the right direction. I don't think it's a step in the right direction, but it is definitely a step in a direction.
Right.
It's not. I don't fully agree with like being able to have a new life, living a completely different life, in a computer, and that's not to say that people can't do that, because I know that there are plenty of people who go into VR to escape their life and escape the things that are around them.
Exactly.
But I feel like there's a difference between between escapism and creating a new life.
Exactly. I think my problem with the metaverse is that they're marketing it as if it's a new concept to be in a virtual world and like talking to others and interacting and doing work in a virtual world, when that's already a thing. And I feel like they're just trying to bank off of something that's not a new concept, and they're trying to like capitalize off that concept. And you
Monopoly.
see everywhere they're calling new games, or like old games that are just like 3D like social hangouts. They're just calling that a metaverse now. That's what they're doing.
The metaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of goofy.
Yeah, it is.
Two more questions.
How many hours do you have in VRChat, and have you found yourself developing an addiction to VRChat?
Let me open up Steam real quick. Currently, not including the time I've spent in today, I have about 29 hours, which is like baby talk compared to some people.
Yeah.
Do I think that I'm addicted to VRChat? Kind of. It grows on you. Being able to the whole escapism thing, being able to just kind of pick myself up and put me somewhere completely different with people I've never met before, or people I've barely comparatively talked to, people I don't truly know, and just sit and have a conversation with them. It is so nice, especially after my move, where I don't have any like physical friends to go talk to anymore.
Exactly.
And the people that I live with are the people that I live with. I see them every day. And it's also like, it is a little bit addicting. Not really addicting. It's really nice, the quality to be able to just walk in somewhere and be like, "Hey guys," and then have a conversation. That if I don't want to be there anymore,
Right.
I just push a button, and I'm gone.
Right.
I don't have to talk to those people anymore. If they're saying horrible things, they're doing horrible things, I can just push a button and be gone. Or I can push a button and make them go away. It's definitely a little addicting, being able to just have that sort of control over my life, something that I've personally not really had a lot of.
What, in your opinion, makes VRChat so special?
Okay, so I'm going to make a direct comparison between VRChat and Rec Room, which is its sort of competitor. The metaverse isn't even a thing in this. Rec Room and VRChat are kind of they're two sides of the same coin. In the sort of escapism, go wherever you want, do whatever you want, build a house, don't build a house, walk into somebody else's house, hit their house with a hammer, whatever you want to do. And they're both their own sort of worlds, but I think VRChat, the fact of avatars, the way the avatar system works, where you can, if somebody's made it, or if you make it, it's that you can walk in, oh, I want to play as my favorite character from this movie, or this game, or this show, or whatever. You just walk in, you push a button, and you're them. You can play whoever. You can make your own avatars. Oh, I want to make my persona. I want to make just me.
Right.
You can just make that. And people who don't necessarily agree with what their physical body is, you can change that. You can be whoever you want to be. And having that sort of control over yourself is definitely like a welcome, or not a welcome change, a very good facet, a very important facet. I don't know exactly how to word that. It's
No,
really
I
nice.
know what you're saying.
And definitely sets VRChat apart from other sort of social VR games. And a lot of other VR games in general, is just the freedom of choice of being able to be whoever you want, do whoever you want, or do whoever you want, do whatever you want. That too. Yeah, that sort of freedom of being able to choose, especially for the people who haven't been able to choose their whole lives, is definitely what sets this game apart from everyone else and everything else.
Right.
It's and you can. In the same way that you can walk in and find an avatar, you can walk in and find a community of people that are just like you, and you can and talk with them, share experiences, and it's baffling to me that we've sort of come to this point where you can push a few buttons, staple a brick to your face, and be in a completely different world as a completely different person, and just go. It's crazy. It's wild. And that's something I'm never really going to get used to, is being able to just be whatever.
Exactly.
The old saying of the only limit is your imagination has really taken to heart here.
Are those your closing thoughts?
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you for your thoughts, though. That was really good. Thank you.
No problem.
That's really gonna come in handy.
I will never pass up an opportunity to talk about that sort of.